Hello everyone, it's RASA VON WERDER from the University of Mother God Church. RASA VON WERDER, University of Mother God Church.com, aka Kellie, Kellie Everts, Everts, KellieEverts.com, istripforgod.com, my life story, and also books under RASA VON WERDER and Kellie Everts, and look for other blogs and websites on me as well. Alright, so I continue reading from the book I Strip for God by Kellie Everts. My life story. It's only a little bit of my life, just a little bit. There'll be plenty more. This is just part 1. I Strip for God, part 1. There'll be part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who knows how many parts? Many parts. Gonna keep writing it till I die. So talking about the Playboy Club, January 1978 is when it started. The job at the Minsky's Burlesque Review. I was the star. I explained that already, how that happened. And now I'm going into a little bit of this, a little bit of that. About Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott was going to meet me at the Playboy Club when I started in Chicago, and I was worried sick. Oh my God, Mr. Scott is coming to Chicago. I called him. The light, my inner voice told me call him. So I did call him. And to come, I'll be in Chicago, and he said he was going to be in Chicago on the same very day that I started the Playboy Club in Chicago. Oh my God. I wasn't religious in those days, but I respected God, and I was searching for him. I didn't have much confidence in those days, and instead of really working on the relationship, I just sort of let it happen when it would, which is no good. No, I was not marriage material for Mr. Scott because of my lack of self-esteem. If I had had self-esteem, I'd have learned the social graces Mr. Scott's wife would have to have. After all, I was only about 21 at the time. Later on, a very charming and beautiful lady did marry him. I am sure she had self-confidence. And so, deluded by the thought that now I had grown in Christ, at least I was a worthy wife for Mr. Scott. See, I got it all confused. I awaited his coming to the Playboy Club, where we would have a glorious reunion and fall in love again. I already felt grateful love for him in my heart, inspired by the light, and this love would rekindle him. Then he would perhaps be sorry we broke up, make amends, and resume our relationship, which would possibly end in marriage. And together we would serve the Lord. That's the kind of fantasies I have. Boy, women got great imaginations, don't they? I wasn't seeing reality. No. I was not. These are fantasies. These are pipe dreams. I wasn't seeing reality. Reality was I should have married him 10 years ago when he wanted to. Then I let it go because I didn't have the confidence. You see? You understand me? This is 10 years later. Now I think I'm worthy because I'm closer to God. I'm deluded. I'm confused. So I'm explaining what I felt then. 1978. We were dating in 1968. After all, he was now much older and would see the errors of his ways. Oh, yeah, right. Living for worldly pleasures and luxury. Rosa, are you crazy? I don't even remember writing this, but this is crazy. What I was thinking was crazy. He by now would be lonely for divine love. Yeah, right. And the joy that only God's service could bring. He would realize, after all, what is money? Yeah, right. But to serve God and help the unfortunate. What good were the mansions and Rolls Royces he had? What ultimate good had they really brought him? And with these thoughts, I awaited him. I had other things on my mind, too, things about the show, and this was taking up much of my time and energy. But the paramount question was Mr. Scott. I didn't even realize that. All I thought about was I didn't realize this until I read this again. I've not read this in years. I didn't realize that my mind was absorbed in Mr. Scott more than anything. I didn't realize it. Now, with this in mind, I wanted to tell you what happened on the fateful night of January 8, 1978. Wow. Chapter 2. The night Jesus gives me the 3 rings of betrothal. Taken from my diary and recollection, here's what happened. January 1978. Playboy Club, Chicago. One of the most momentous nights of my life. Night of the 3 rings. This night I was betrothed to Christ and received promises. I went to sleep and had a terrible, sad dream. It was a vision of exactly what would happen between Mr. Scott and me. I dreamed that they were doing the story of my life, and one scene which I am seeing shows how pitiful I was. There was a pitifully poor girl living in this room by the ocean, like a motel room. She had nothing. This great rich man came to make love to her. He befriended her and was with her, and then he left her all alone, just as impoverished as she had been. He gave her nothing at all before he left. Wow. And here we see her all alone in that poor room suffering, and the picture closes with the ocean waves breaking over rocks. Very sad. As I awoke, I heard the light say, and that is a chapter of your life. I was told by the light after I woke up to get up and pray the rosary, which I did kneeling on my bed facing the wall where I have the picture of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. This might have been the night where I said the rosary with devotion for the first and only time in my life thus far. I was infused with a love I have never had before nor since while praying. After I prayed, I sat on my bed against my pillows and thought about the dream, and when I saw clearly what it meant, my heart was broken. First, my heart was dilated until I began to cry, and as it was dilating, it also seemed to be breaking. I felt the deepest pain and the deepest love simultaneously, and it was centered in my heart. It seemed that I could hardly bear the extremity of these feelings, and I cried deeply. Gazing at the picture of the Sacred Heart of Jesus on the wall, in my mind I spoke to him. I was thinking that I would be willing to suffer anything, absolutely anything, to make atonement for my sins. In fact, I thought about cancer. In my mind I told Jesus I would gladly and willingly suffer cancer to pay for my sins. Weird that I started talking about cancer earlier. This was the uppermost and overwhelming desire within my heart now, atonement for sin. I didn't realize it then, but now I understand that what was known as perfect contrition. Perfect contrition prepares one for union with Christ. I now said out loud to Jesus, promise me that I will not die without paying for my sins. He said to me clearly, not audibly, but in supernatural communication, I promise you that you will die in my arms. At this answer, I burst into more tears, and in a short while I said to Jesus, as a proof of what you have said to me, I wish to receive an engagement ring from you on my left hand. I put my left hand out and stared at it, and lo behold, I saw a brilliant flash of blue light, of light blue light, on my pinky. I don't know what's going on here with these noises. Alright, let me continue the next time. To be continued.